Today we're installing the baseboards. We'll show you the most important tips, what you need to watch out for, and which corners you can use. Hi, and welcome to Planeo. I'm Monjue, and we're back here at our construction site where we installed the real wood flooring. Now it's time to put up the baseboards. That's our goal today. We'd like to take you along the process, show you a few tricks and a couple of different ways, how to attach it, how to design inside corners and outside corners, and so on. Let's just get started. It's really not that hard. I just wanted to quickly show a few small differences in types of baseboards. So what's the difference? There are so many types of baseboards, so I just brought two with me as examples. At first glance, you might think it's exactly the same baseboard. I'm going to exaggerate here. But let's say I grabbed this baseboard at the construction site and oops, I had something on my fingers. Now suddenly, I've left my fingerprint here. Of course, I try to wipe it off somehow. But really, I'm just smearing the whole mess around. And in the end, it stays stuck on the baseboard. Even if both have a white film on them, that doesn't necessarily mean they're exactly the same baseboard. With our baseboard, I can get fingerprints on it too, and I can wipe my fingers on it. But here's the good thing. I do. Run a dry sweater over it and it's almost gone. If I quickly wipe it once with a damp cloth, it's clean again. I don't have that with these baseboards here. As soon as I touch them, I immediately get all these streaks on them. And here, I can't just wipe them off with my sweater either. And that's, for example, a really big difference with the baseboards we have. You'll also see in a moment where you can notice the thickness of the film. Both are white films, but this one here on the cheaper baseboard is much thinner. Then on this baseboard, on ours, there's a really reinforced film on it. That's important later on with outside corners. At first, everything usually still looks nice, but then I end up bumping into it again while vacuuming, right on the corner. That thing is broken. Ours here is just much more robust. All right, now we're at our first corner. I wanted to show you something. What options are there for designing inside and outside corners? In our shop, we have these wooden corners. You can shorten them to whatever length you need. Place them in the corner. Then you would have your baseboard here and your baseboard there. Of course, you have to decide here whether you position this. Post here like this, or if you want it right at the corner. Now I would have to cut this a bit at an angle and shorten it to the length where I want it. That's one option, but it's a bit more involved. But I don't have to cut a miter, so that's something you can do as well. You can also just put them together straight if you want. That's a very quick and simple option. And then we have the option of using an inside corner piece. These are two small adhesive strips here, which you peel off later, and the good thing about it is, I don't really need to saw the molding precisely, just roughly cut it to length. Even if there's a bit of a gap here, it doesn't matter at all, because later on, this corner piece goes over it and then it looks pretty decent. The only thing is right at the back. I might consider using a bit of acrylic to finish it off, but it's a good and quick solution. We're going to cut everything here at a miter. Cutting at a miter is actually pretty involved, especially when you're not working in a new building, but in an old one where the walls aren't really straight and everything is pretty crooked. On top of that, we're also gluing them. No construction adhesive hardens instantly. Now I have to press the molding down somewhere on the right and also on the left, and the adhesive isn't holding. What do I do in that case? Today, we want to show you a bit how we handle that. That was the inside corner from earlier. Of course, there's also an outside corner. Again, it has these two adhesive strips inside. And then you just slip it over the outside corner. There are also end pieces for this. If you need to stop at the patio door, for example, or at a door frame, you can just slip a cap over it there. And there are also connector pieces. For those who might be cutting with a handsaw, the cut might not be that clean. So you can use these connectors when two moldings meet to cap the joint. Put the thing on here. And now we can basically line up our angle exactly here. If I want to saw the other edge now, then I would hold the strip up to this here, and I would have to keep adjusting my saw over and over. That's why I got used to just holding the strip upside down. In the end, you get the same result. The corner is good because the miter fits, but the wall is slanted here again. You can see it pretty well here, even though the angle fits. We have to leave this part up here at 0 and now saw off more at the bottom at an angle. End caps, I'd need 30 to 45 minutes here. Then everything would be cut and finished with the strips. But since you're cutting it at a miter, and everything has to fit exactly, it's going to take 2 or 3 hours here. I have to put something underneath here. That means sometimes I put a folding ruler there. You can really see it up here. There's still a gap. The further down I go, down there it's already touching. So we'll start by sawing and then see how it goes. I like to take it slow and work my way up. We're doing this from both sides too. There was a 4mm gap at the top. That means I have to saw off 2mm on the left and 2 on the right. The further back I push the folding ruler, the higher the molding goes here, and the more I would end up sawing off here. But this was already pretty good, so we'll leave it like that. Now we'll push the molding up here to 0. We have to be careful here. We're holding the molding upside down. That means I can't put my folding ruler underneath here now, because if I did that, I'd end up sawing off more at the top than at the bottom. But the gap was at the top, so I want to keep it at 0 at the top. That's why the folding ruler has to go underneath the back here, so that I tilt the molding like this, and not like this anymore. So we'll lower this down and check again with the saw blade to see how it fits. Alright, that actually doesn't look too bad now. The only issue here is that this corner in the back, it's not completely square. It's a bit rounded. I'll just trim this area a bit with a utility knife, so you have a little more wiggle room there, and I think then it'll fit. I'm going to glue the first corner now. And here we have the problem, especially back here. It kind of pushes in a little bit, and it's the same thing up front, of course. It doesn't matter which adhesive you use, it just won't hold immediately. And also in terms of height here, it's still a bit wobbly. No construction adhesive will hold that instantly. It always needs some time until it sets. And that's why I've had really good experiences with this. If you use a little bit of hot glue, I put a few dots of hot glue on along with our construction adhesive. The hot glue holds it immediately, so I still have a second or two to adjust it a little. But then it gets pretty solid and holds it right away. That's really good. And the construction adhesive will be hard enough by tomorrow to hold everything permanently. You could also do this with a small nail. There are nails without heads and small steel pins, and you just hammer them in. That works too. Of course, you need to be sure exactly where you want the trim to go, but we've already calculated all of that. So, it's already holding in place. And by tomorrow, the construction adhesive will be hard enough that it can handle the pressure and tension that builds up, so it'll hold. Now we just keep moving along bit by bit and check. Does it maybe fit here? Here, I might add a little hot glue again, so I can press it down a bit. Because honestly, that's a bit too much tension. So I don't think even the glue will really hold that. But that's just how it is here, because the walls aren't completely straight. Later, we'll seal the molding from above with acrylic and then paint over it again with wall paint. It's too much work. Little acrylic from above. Paint over it, and then it looks really neat. Get with this. Corner piece. We now have the problem that the wall itself is really crooked. If I press it into place on one side, it fits well, but when I move to the front, at the corner and press there, the back shifts completely out of place again. I'll just have to put something behind the corner, so the molding can't get pushed in there. Once the construction adhesive hardens later, it won't matter anyway. It'll hold things in place. But for now, to secure it properly, I have to do it this way. By stuffing something in the back so the molding can't get pushed in there, and then using hot glue at the front to fix it nicely so it looks good from the front. Front's closed. That's already really good. If you're wondering why I'm putting so much scrap molding in the back, that's intentional. Otherwise, I never would have managed the inside miter. All right, let's keep going. We've got the baseboards installed mostly in an old building. Not everything is perfectly straight. Here, it's actually pretty bad. You can see up here on the baseboard that sometimes there's a bit more of a gap. That's why we're going to seal it here again with white acrylic. And then the owner will come back later and paint over it. With the wall paint, with acrylic, it usually tends to yellow a bit over time. So it's always safest to paint over it again. Yeah, Joseph has already taped this off here. Because this wall here is a gray mud tone, so we don't. Smearing acrylic wall. We'd rather play it safe and tape it off first. On the white wall, we won't do that. I'll go along there carefully. Once we seal it from the top, it'll look good. We'll go over the butt joints. One more time with a bit of white paint. Right now, I only have a bit bigger brush. Of course, you should really use a small, delicate brush for this, but this will do just fine here. Then we'll go through one more time and check if everything is clean. And then that's it for today. yet. We've reached the end. Trim is in place, is sealed from the top, touched with paint, everything cleaned up. It didn't take that long, but it was pretty fiddly. Everything was crooked and uneven. Walls crooked. The floor isn't level, so it was a bit tricky in the corners to cut everything to fit just right. But overall, I have to say, it still looks pretty good. Have a nice evening. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye.